Are there consequences or risks in playing with the Ouija board? Have you ever played with it or know anybody who did and ended up having a not so nice result afterwards? Let's talk about details of this process in this video. Stay with me. Hi, welcome to this channel that is about taking control of our personal evolution spiritually and here in this lifetime. And speaking of spirits, it's so common that in an attempt of communicating with those that are beyond our physical world, so many different devices and techniques are created. But one of the biggest problems we have is that some of them, they are somehow presented as a game, which can be very complex because we don't play with fire, at least we should not. In the same way, we shouldn't play with people who are interacting with us with energies that we may not be completely informed about. So we may have consequences of when we play with fire, as well as consequences of maybe playing with spirits. I know throughout this maybe almost 30 years that I am researching and teaching and helping people to understand about their energies and about their contacts with the non-physical world. I've had witnessed so many cases of people who had problems. For example, one that comes to my mind, I know of a person who was actually living in Australia, and he came to us asking for help. And he mentioned to me that he was playing with a group of friends, the Ouija, and of course having fun and drinking. He was not so young at the time, around his 35s or something like that. But while they were playing, all of a sudden the table started shaking, and there was a glass of water on top of the table that also started shaking and somehow shattered against the wall. And they were also surprised and they stopped the game immediately. But the problem is that somehow, whichever or whoever was the consciousness that created that condition or that poltergeist phenomena stayed in his house. And afterwards, he kept having very bad dreams, bad nights, waking up in the middle of the night. There were noises in the house, so many bad consequences coming from that. Because very often, the fact that in order to do the game successfully, and it's part of the game that individuals who are participating, they would evoke, they would call for those non-physical persons or spirits to come and to communicate and to take control of that table. So the energies of their energy bodies are distributed and gives power to the non-physical consciousness to be able to act in the physical world and therefore communicating and moving the objects and of course writing the words. That is the point of the Ouija board. And there's something that's of a very bad taste because some people give that as a gift to children or to young adolescents. So this is very complicated. I do not know what would inspire somebody to give such a game, but it's the same thing of giving a match to a child to play. But people do not know what exists beyond the physical world. Therefore, they do not know that they are playing with something that is real and that there are risks or dangers. And in many cases for children, because they are more sensitive and also because naturally they are still growing, their energies are more loose, there can be lots of complications. So we wouldn't like to encourage this. We are not going to tell kids that they should be afraid of the non-physical world. That's not correct. But we should deal with it accordingly, in the same way, again, that we handle fire accordingly, with the specific care in specific ways. So I wanted very much to mention about this and to discuss because I think it's a matter of clarifying, making a service, because otherwise where are we going to get this type of information from? We may be suffering consequences from this. We may be seeing our own kids receiving this sort of gift, maybe with a good intention, but it doesn't work. Or we may even be fomenting or encouraging the use of the Ouija board. So I think that unless it's adults who know very well what they are doing in terms of their subtle energies and in terms of the connection with the non-physical world, who knows very well how to handle the non-physical presences that may end up acting there, I do not advise. I think we'd better get information first and let's taste the non-physical world or experience it in a different way, in a way that is more natural, in a way that we access this world according to our own capacity. I hope this information is useful to you to understand the process and perhaps also useful for you to pass ahead to someone who may be needing this type of clarification. Thank you very much for being with me up to now. See you next video.